Today I want to look at the game Rummikub, or Rummikub as it's often known. Now, it's based on the game Rummy in cards, where you're trying to get a run of 3 or more like this. This is 5, 6, 7 black. You're trying to get a group of 3 or more like this, which is 4s. And remember that the picture cards, Jack, Queen, King, have been replaced by 11, 12 and 13. And there are 4 colours which represent the 4 suits. The game is made up of 106 tiles, which represents 2 packs of cards, and 2 extra tiles, which are the wild tiles, these face tiles. The colours don't really mean anything. Now, some games have up to 8 of these, but mine only has 2, and I think that having more than 2 dilutes the game and makes it less interesting. The idea is you start with 14 tiles, and you've got to try and get rid of them all to win the game. To start placing tiles on the table, you need to meld or score at least 30, and you can do this by putting your 3 7s down and the 3 3s, which would score exactly 30. However, what you can't do is use the wild tile to score anything. It scores 0, so this place would score only 20. And remember, if you can't go at all at any time in the game, you have to pick up a tile. So let's look at some of the moves you can do. Let's start off by adding to other people's placed tiles. We can add a 10 to here, and we can also add the 9 as well. Remember, you can do any number of these sort of moves in one turn. So we can also, in the same turn, add this 3 to those 3s. You can also split and add. This is where there's a long run of tiles, and you can insert a tile into that run by splitting it. So you split it like this, and then you can add your 4, for instance. As long as what remains is more than sets of 3, you're okay. Now, you can move tiles that are already on the table before you even start playing with the tiles in your rack. For instance, to release this 4, because I've already got 2 4s and I can make a group of 3, I could put this 2 on those 2s. I could put this 3 on these 3s, and then I have the 4 to make my set of 3 4s. And you can do the opposite. If I wanted to make a run of 2, 3, 4 in black, and I had the 4, I could take a 2 from here, a 3 from here, and then use the 4 from my rack to make a run 2, 3, 4. And things become a whole lot easier if you have the wild tile. So for instance, I could make up 3 7s in my rack, or I could do 7, 8, 9, or 6, 7, 8, like this, and place those. Or I could use the wild card as a blue 9, and then put my 10 on it to get rid of 1 extra tile. Now, you can obtain the wild tile by replacing it by exactly what it represents. So for instance, you can put your blue 9 here, and you've obtained this for your own use. But you must use it in the same turn. So for instance, you could do this. Now, there does tend to be some ambiguity as to how you release this wild tile. So let's put it back and do that again. This time we will do something different. For instance, you could do this. You could put the 8 on here, the 10 on here, and suddenly you've released the wild tile. But have you really? Because you haven't replaced it with a 9. So theoretically it's not yours. But some people use the rule in this way. As the game progresses, there are more and more combinations of things you can do, so you can use more interesting strategies. Say, for instance, these 3 3s, 3 4s and 3 5s, all of the same colour, can be redistributed into runs of 3 4 5, 3 4 5 and 3 4 5, and then you can add a 2 off your rack to get rid of a tile. You will find more of these combinations of things you can do as you get good at the game. So there it is, some of the ideas and strategies used in the game Rummikub or Rummikub.